All right, so welcome to the Poetry Den, where words once written on a page are now performed on stage, and solidarity extends between poets and friends. Thank you all for coming out tonight on soon-to-be holiday around the corner, and for all of you that are listening in on the Zoom, we appreciate you being here. We know that we're like right in the midst of people shopping and trying to get maybe their menus together for the holiday and family together. So we appreciate you all coming out. Normally we do this on the fourth Sunday, but because Christmas falls within that, we decided to move it up a week. And usually that only happens in December, but we still wanted to allow this to happen and those that wanted to come out and participate. My name is Pam Blair, and I am your host and founder of the Poetry Den. I think I was asked by Tanika that how long we've been doing this, and we've been doing the Poetry Den in the city for like 9 years, and here at the center almost 6 years. So we've been around for a minute, and we always get new people that join us, as well as some of our regulars from years gone by. How many of you have been in this place before? Everybody, except for you. Okay. Usually, I don't know who we have on our Zoom call, but usually I always like to give tribute to the place that we're in, because it's significant. It's a historical landmark here in the city, and I also have appreciated and the value that it has in the city. So I ask George, or I can ask Daryl actually, to give a short something about this place. Yeah, you know how to do this. This is routine. So this is Mr. Daryl Heller.
I'd like to welcome everyone, especially those of you who've been here before, and even more especially those who are here for the first time. I'm Daryl, I'm the director of the center here, and just very briefly, this is a former indoor swimming pool that for 28 years either excluded or segregated African Americans. Through a long community fight that was a partnership and collaboration between IU South Bend, the city of South Bend, the South Bend Heritage Foundation, community activists and organizers, were able to reclaim this spot and turn it from a place that excluded and segregated into a space that's welcoming to everybody. And we're especially welcoming to the Poetry Den and Pam, and just thank you for everything that you've brought to the city. Because we can't make a revolution, I'm fond of saying, without art. And you bring art here, and that's a critical voice in the kind of transformation that we're all seeking to make. So thank you and welcome.
So just a little bit of how this goes. We do an open mic, and then we usually have our featured artist that closes us out. On the norm, we say like 5 minutes. We do like 5 to 8 minutes. And then if you don't read all of your stuff, then we can kind of rotate and come back up. Usually it always depends on how many people sign up for the open mic. And then, yes, we move into our featured artist. There's bathrooms in the back. If you use the dryer for your hands, we'll all know when you're done using the bathroom. But they do have towels back there, you can wipe your hands. If you take a phone conversation, as you can see, this has a big echo. We'll probably get to listen to your phone conversations as well. So just to stay mindful. And as well as like phones, if you could silence your phone or turn it down or whatever, that'd be awesome. So I usually leave this out, and then again, those of you that are joining us on Zoom, we'd love to have you participate if you can. And then any of you in the audience that would like to participate if you decide at the last minute you wanted to do something. Just holler at me, let me know, and we'll make it happen. So I'm going to start us out with a piece called that I wrote, and it's called Truth. It's just a little explanation of myself. Who am I? I am creator, born from creation, breath of life, a mind of artistic imagination. Driven by passion, art of expression, I am your true craftsman. I am twisted words of truth, undocumented proof, and I give no excuse to what my pen might produce. My enthusiasm is to give you an eargasm of a whole lot of sarcasm, because it's the only time people really tell the truth. And they say the truth shall set you free, but what you fail to believe is that transparency has a warranty. So you'll expire quickly to lies just so you can get by. Just so you can get by on American dreams, as it seems for things that you can't really afford. Or furthermore, save for tomorrow, having no real credit in this life unless you continue to borrow. So strapped for money that united we can't stand up for justice. So divided, we fall for anything. Is our future even promising? When was the last time you built a castle in the sand? Where are the coloring books with crayons? And when did the computer take over the art of drawing freehand? And when did Facebook become my new listening friend and inserting LOL behind comments? Delete the offend. Even now, your undivided attention I commend. I am the potter on the wheel. To you, my thoughts I conceal. A beautiful mind revealed. The pen, my sword. The paper, my shield. Through poetry, I can heal. That's that piece. One piece I was going to share. This piece is really pretty sensitive to me because right before the pandemic happened in March or whatever, I was on leave because I have chronic arthritis in my neck, and I had an episode and was off work and could barely even stand up like this. And there was a professor that wrote to me and asked me how I was doing, and for some reason, it sparked off of a song that I happened to listen to the same time I'm reading his email. And the song was called The Other Side, and I wrote this poem that's called The Other Side. All of our life, given the option to choose, until circumstances changes all the rules, wondering how long and why will I make it to the other side. Lying here waiting for the storm to pass, tears start to feel like raindrops, clouds build to form nose drops, thunder rolls across my heart, and the beat drops. Oh, to remember the sun never left. It always settles in the west. It never intends to hide. It's just on the other side. Uncertainty is the new norm. When the world closes windows and doors, our minds become a prison in time. Fear and hopelessness unite and combine. When I can't stand upright, give me the words to fight. Words to paper my pen will engage. There's a story on the other side of the page. Oh, to remember the sun never left. It always settles in the west. It never intends to hide. It's just on the other side. I want to make it to the other side of pain, testify to things overcame, be a witness to the damage now contained, a feeling of peace to regain. We are but travelers passing through. May our shoes stay intact and carry no residue. Dark skies still have stars that shine their best. And the other side does not always mean death. for the sun never left. It always settles in the west. It never intends to hide. It's just on the other side. It's that piece. I'm gonna read one more, and then I'm gonna ask those of you that signed up to join me. Everybody all right? Yeah, all right. This piece is called America the Beautiful. I know you're exhausted from repetitive conversation, tired of hearing explanation after explanation after explanation. Are we talking about race or historical systems that were once put in place? How many times do you detox after hearing about another dead body and no shock? Smoke clears the Glock and young fingers unravel a trigger of what young minds should never consider. Household names, homicide. A mother's bloodstained tears don't disappear with peroxide. A race faced with a double-edged sword. Hatred and genocide are fears we can't afford. Are we saving brown bodies or enabling white conscience? Are we silent due to hurt feelings, denying lives that matter in pivotal situations? Correct me if I'm wrong, but building more walls won't solve legislative laws, yet only create more division for those marginalized by the system. A system that doesn't want to lose its power. A country where I can't breathe can't be fixed with humidifiers. And staying in your comfort zone won't solve real problems. America the Beautiful is an ugly bride, draped in arrogance, sashaying her pride. She'll lure you with her freedom and sell you her dreams. Her morals are slightly short of blasphemy. That's that piece. Dan, want to join me? You all give it up for Dan, it's a good friend of mine.
Hi. So, when I wrote I wrote some poems in midsummer with a guy named John Homan, who runs the poetry readings out in Elkhart on Fridays. And I said, when I was a kid, we used to play a game called Say the First Thing That Comes to Your Mind. I don't know if you play that game. Somebody, your brother or sister would say this, and the first thing that came to your mind, you'd say. And I said, well, John, let's do that, but with poems. You start out writing a poem, and then I have to respond within a certain period of time and back and forth. So I'm gonna risk reading as many of these as possible and then maybe come back. So Pam, you just cut me off when it's too much, okay? There's 8 of them. John Homan wrote on July 22nd, I never felt the need to skin my knees on purpose. Pain for the sake of experience doesn't seem worth it. Breaking my heart simply to know that it's beating is a waste of tears. Conserve the water that's glistening. Life isn't gym class, burning my hands on the climbing rope just to toughen me up. Who decided contentment, easy affliction, and napping were dangerous? They need to be stopped, but how? That was the first one, and I responded, one side of the coin on July 24th. Skin knee, smell of worms after the storm, warm mud between toes, ankle deep in a puddle, itching mosquito bites, then legs covered in poison ivy. Flight, launching a banana seat from a boy-made dirt ramp and found plywood, greasy fingers attached chain, 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, more. Fireflies light the sky galore, dirty and sticky, tumble into the twilight zone. So I thought this was going to be like a week between getting these, and I can't tell you the amount of anxiety I had waiting the couple days to hear back from John. And on July 28th, John wrote back, Kokomo Amish funeral viewing. Under bright afternoon sunshine, the mostly yellow bike survives, a refuge from the 70s, complete with a mostly intact banana seat. This relic leans against the barn among other farmland detritus, among mud and assorted organics. This is the place where they meet, the rooster and the hen, doing what must be done. The unseemliness that is the origin of chicken nuggets. It's not romance in the air. In this place, lust smells like horse shit. Seasoned by the heat of mid-July, the carnal ambience washes away by the pop-up storms on the way home, as we happily stop at Dairy Queen. I responded on August 1st. Driving and drinking, coffee and thinking never helped him understand. Trying to grasp middle age, the secret truths old men never told him. Maybe hoping he would escape them, wishing seriously transforming him back to his animal self, thinking of his lovers like a trust fall, where he left them open-handed, dipping his toes into old age, the waves quickly lapping his balls, looking over his shoulder at the scratching and crowing, never absconding youth. Good? Two more? Okay. This is Cowboy Prophet by John, written on August 4th. At my grandfather's funeral, I spoke to my father's friend, the only true cowboy I knew intimately. 2 years out of Bible school, everything was so clear, and I told anyone who would listen. He patiently listened while considering he had socks older than me. Looking at me in the eye, the way that an older man speaks truth, understand this, you will never know as much as you know right now. I nodded, thanked him, and proceeded to shut up. His serious tone communicated volumes of patience. 30 years later, the cowboy prophecy comes to pass as black and white coalesce into shades of gray, colors never seen before, bloom in forgotten truths, long buried in the cemetery of my mind. Whitman said to loaf and invite the soul. But enlightenment came in coffee-fueled overtime, finally admitting to my own weakness. Truth dawned slower than hoped, the measure of a man more than what's between his legs. The sorceress is not to blame selflessness. That magic spell turns all men into swine. I'm going to stop there because the next series is kind of go together.
One more time for Dan. Thank you all for those of you that continue to sign up. Appreciate that. I'm going to read one and then I'm going to call my next poet up. I only really get to read this around Christmas time. It's pretty old, but yeah, I was pretty. Christmas used to be super hard for me, just because I got so locked into like trying to buy gifts and be Santa Claus to my son. And you know, when you can't afford to do that, it makes it difficult. And you're trying to put, have good food on the table and gifts just gets, it all gets tangled together. And it just makes you hate Christmas. So literally, I used to like wish I could just sleep through Christmas. I know that, right now I have a lot of friends and relatives who are like having a hard time, not necessarily with that, but just losing our loved ones. We've been through this crazy time of losing people insanely, just seems like a lot. And so, yeah, it's hard. But this piece is called Who is Christmas Really About? Santa Claus, and who is he? Is he black, white, mixed, or Chinese? In blowing snow, I really can't tell. He's always begging for money, ringing a loud bell. Supposedly, he brings cheer only once a year, breaking an entry, yet most sincere. Leaving gifts under the tree. 1 year later, those credit card companies want to sue me. The world says baby girls gotta have it. 5 years later, baby boys gotta have it. Teachers say he's ADD. iStep says he can't read. The clause in Santa is in very small print. It says, I don't love you unless I buy you a gift. When really the gift is not about you and me, it's about a man who lived to die on a tree. It's about a man whose birth is hidden behind a big red suit. Maybe the red signifies the bloodshed upon the earth. The same blood that saves you and me, the blood that says I have life eternally, the blood that says I can live with my Heavenly Father forever, not later, but on earth as it is in heaven. That's that piece. Tanika, she just stepped away, so I'm gonna go to Katie. Katie, let's give it up for Katie, please. Welcome again.
Hey people, I'm Katie Ann. Most of these I wrote very recently, and the last one is a little bit old, but it sort of connects to it. You date a poet, and you think, wow, this is it. This level of communication, this is it. Give me all the metaphors and color, give me contrast and visual explosions, give me love and layers. You break up with a poet and you think, wow, that was not it. This level of hurtful verse, drama is it. Please stop measuring me to angels. Take your ashes and throw them into someone else's face. Vacate the room, give me straightforward love. I'm eating noodles in the bathtub. My leg hair a couple weeks long. Sock lines, indents on my ankles really linger. Skinny denim lines all the way up to my belly. A couple rolls there I'm supposed to hate, but I like myself soft, huggable, pointless, sharp, not, whole, rounded, balanced, and not so hungry. Hungry like they want us, like you wanted me then, a little starved, a little desperate to put things into my mouth. You failed me. You failed to understand the hunger that's deeper than any fervent mouth could go. I just wrote this yesterday, or finished it yesterday, we'll say. Wrote most of it yesterday. The faucet handle in the kitchen is loose, and every time it falls off into my hand, and it does quite often these days, then I have no choice but to remember you are dead. When I have to take my car to a mechanic, when I leave bread out on the counter, when the basement light is left on, when we forget to take out the recycling, when there's something so small and so beautiful resting on the sidewalk, when the neighbor's dog gets loose and walks right into the house, when someone does not need a wet willy, when I'm looking for the thing, when I'm looking for that thingamabob, when the sun is shining, when I'm falling in love, when I go camping, when I stomp in a mud puddle, when I step barefoot into the grass, when my mom shares a post about cats, when she sleeps in the recliner, when she makes we meet, when I eat a carrot, when I see a carrot, when I see Gabby, when we go to her first drag show, when I think about how uncomfortable you'd be if you knew she was gay, when I was attracted to a woman once, when I'm driving home, when I hear you say, Katie girl, in my head, when I'm in the living room, when I see marijuana, when I see CBD, when I see your sweatpants, when I read a book, when I see the sun, when I see the sunset, when I breathe in and when I breathe out, and I do that quite often these days, then I have no choice but to remember you are dead. Good Lord, I didn't know that was gonna make me cry. Thank you. So this one I wrote around when my stepdad was dying. That piece is about my stepdad. Teach me how to read with feeling. Teach me how to feel. Teach me how to think in metaphors, engage with metaphors, cradle me in metaphors. Help me express the feeling I feel when you stroke my hair and kiss my forehead. Reach into my chest and take the temperature of my heart. Hold it. Unite with its rhythm. Tell me I'm beautiful, but do it with metaphors. Say to me, you are more compelling than a basket full of puppies. You are a perfect cool breeze on my sunburned face. You are my weird wormy roots, holding me up, growing me out, nourishing my expansion. Look into me, ask me, how do you feel? What do you dream? What do you scheme? Help me be me deeply with curiosity, with love, with absolute awe and fascination for my entirety. Remind me that I come from stardust. Broken light, shards of broken light, spun into skin and bone and blood, and metaphors, and sunshine, feelings, rainy mornings, rainbow afternoons, fiery evenings iced with dreamy nights, intertwining and blooming moonflowers.
That's Katie. Thank you one more time for her. Thank you for being vulnerable with your poetry. We love it here. You're always welcome to do that here. Oh, no, you're good. That happens a lot in this space, and hopefully that we make room for all of that here. So I want to, let's see, Ted. Is Ted ready to go? If not, I can do something. That's all right, we can. All right.
Here I
Hey,
am.
Ted, how are you?
Yes, it's fine.
Awesome, welcome. We're putting you on.
Well, thank you.
Give it up
And
for Ted, please.
good evening and happy holidays to all of you. Like this time of year, there are a large number of letters written to Santa. And I wrote this one a couple of years ago. And like most things, Santa doesn't always deliver every year everything you ask for. So this one's kind of appropriate again. Dear Santa, I hope you're doing fine. Sorry, I'm not written for some time. If you can't remember me, check your list. The naughty side, somewhere in its midst. Before you throw this letter away, please take a moment. Read it, I pray. What I'm wishing is not about or for me. It's much needed things for others. You'll see. First, have people agree to act with civility. That will help us all live in tranquility. I worry about the melting snow and ice, and that your sled won't be able to go. I know high up in your sleigh you can see the earth and oceans filled with debris. I hope you can find a way to banish this waste. Not much time left. hurry, move with haste. Finally, so many don't have enough to eat. Stockings filled with food would be a treat. And please cure all those illnesses that kill. Somewhere in your bag must be a magic pill. I know this is a lot of stuff for you to pursue, but you're Santa Claus and something you can do. I believe in you and can get it done quick. That's why you're known and loved as Saint Nick. I love you, Santa. Merry Christmas. Your friend, Teddy.
You all give it one more time for Ted. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Thank
It's weird because I'm looking at the screen when.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm talking to somebody that's behind me. Tanika. Welcome, Tanika, to the Poetry Den, please. Come on up.
I need to leave. I know.
True story, no explanation needed. The name is Am I Wealthy? Someone asked me if I was wealthy. My response was, yes, I am wealthy. I'm wealthy in the Holy Spirit. I'm wealthy in health and strength. I'm wealthy in boldness and courage. I'm wealthy in grace and mercy. I'm wealthy in compassion and empathy. I'm wealthy in sight and hearing. I'm wealthy in communication and speech. I'm wealthy in victory. I'm very wealthy simply because I know who my Father is. He has many names, but is most commonly known as God, Lord, Savior, Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Emmanuel. Yes, I am very wealthy. If you know who your Father is, then you'd be wealthy too. Then, when someone asks you if you are wealthy, your response should be, yes, I know who my Father is. I have one more true story. This one is called This Hand. I have grandbabies, and this one, he's one, and I drew a picture of his hand on the paper while he was asleep, and I just came up with the poem, just out the blue. This hand right here is a gift from God. This hand waves at the sound of hallelujah, he does. This hand is attached to the soul of my bloodline. This hand I hold when he don't want to let go. This hand is the touch of love. This hand right here is the gift from God. That's it.
That's Tanika, y'all. One more time, thank you for being here with us. Once again, thank you for those that are listening to us through the Zoom call. If any of you out there want to participate in open mic tonight, just let George know in the chat, and we'll make sure that you have an opportunity to read tonight. Our next artist I'd like to bring up, is it Dewan? It's what? Donovan. Donovan is new to the Poetry Den, so please give him a round of applause as he joins us.
Well, looks like I got big shoes to fill. Yeah, so. Thank you, whoever you are. I'm just kidding. But, thank you, sir. I'm actually from LaPorte, but I work here in South Bend, and I have 3 poems that I'd like to perform tonight. 2 of them are really short, so luckily, if you're sick of me after that, I'll be out there. So, but the first one is talking about heritage, because I'm half Islander. I'm half Chamorro. I was born in Guam, and my heritage is really, really special to me. This one's called Child of the Riptide. May I remove my mask so I can pronunciate clearly? Is that okay?
Unfortunately, yeah, that's.
Understood. Just thought I'd ask, but thank you so
Thank
much.
you for asking, though.
Understood. All right, so this one is called Child of the Riptide. I was born with salt in my veins and swaddled in coconut leaves. I cried a lot, but not for my mom, but for the warm currents that carried my forefathers. The crashing of the waves near my home had a rhythm to it that no one could hear but me. A lullaby not formed from that of human melody. As a child, all I needed was a walk along the shore to help me start and end each day. If I ever decided to throw a fit, only the tide with gentle shushes of the surge could calm and soothe my sweltering mind and bring me back to my gentle soul. When I became a very young man, which I still am, still I was cradled in the cool embrace of the tide. And whenever I paid the beach a visit, I heard the waves whisper to me, "Come home soon, my son." The same salt that enlivens me, I will return to the current one day. It's to the sea that I owe my life, and to the sea that I shall return. This next one is the longer one. Are you ready? This one is called Blood Ties, and this one was written when I was going through a rough time, because you ever have one of those times where you're wondering who your family really is? When your blood relatives say that they love you very much, but you know deep down that that's not really true? I wrote this one when I was going through those feelings. Since the dawn of time, which for me started when I was 4 years old, I've been told one sentence over and over again, and that is, family is the most important thing, no matter what, Donovan. I was always reminded that loyalty is precious, blood over everything. I told myself, as much as they did, that I should always be and always will be ready to war with and fight with and die for those who share the same blood as I, because that's all we got in this cruel and senseless world. I mean, the old adage goes, blood is thicker than water, right? The problem is, I'm a pretty strong guy. I can lift heavy things and swing pretty hard. I can handle myself on whatever scrape I get, and I'm also not afraid of a little blood and guts. All those years ago, I pledged fealty and honor to my family, and at the age of 13, I set off to war. I picked up my wooden sword and a paper shield and charged headstrong into the battle in front of me. But just like many warriors before me, I was overwhelmed by the enemy. I tried to hold on and I kicked and clawed, and when it got too much, I called for reinforcements. But when I reached my hand out to be saved, I felt nothing. When it was all over and I was lying there helpless, it was then that they finally showed their faces. They swayed the banner of our family house back and forth in victory, with another set of colors foreign to me flying next to them in the wind. How can I be bonded to a family who, when they knew that I was wounded, they turned away? Blood is everything? Loyalty is precious? What a great way to teach me that that's a damn lie. Thank you. This is the second short one here. I wrote this one after watching the news, which I shouldn't have, but it got me to thinking all of what I see on every single news outlet over this time, it's basically just theater. So this one is called World Stage. If only I could just stop giving in to my own apathy and give this world new, bright, and entertaining material, then maybe it will spin on the right track again. Instead, here I am, looking out my window, watching the show outside stay stuck in a repeat performance. A theater show for those who don't care. Actors actively attacking the audience, the set rickety and ready to fall down, the pit musicians are playing off key, and the instruments are made of balsa wood and rusty tin. If I had just the strength to tear down the whole thing and the confidence to perform something in front of this picky mass because I think that, hey, I have a few ideas that I know will work, maybe, just maybe, I'll get a laugh or two, at least out of myself. But all I have are notes and scribbles on a blank page. I suppose it'll be that way until the encore. Thanks.
One more time for Devontae. Donovan. Got it. For some reason, I was thinking Devontae, and I was like, that's not what it says. Donovan.
You're not the only one to call me.
I apologize, though, because I do like to get names right. All right. Wayne, come on down.
Well, Pam gave us a poem related to the season. I'm going to do the same. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's summer down there, and they are getting ready to celebrate Christmas. We live in the Northern Hemisphere, in the northern half of the United States, in northern Indiana. Here it's cold and wet and dark. This is a time of year when Kwanzaa, Chanukah, Advent, Christmas occur. And how does that contrast with the darkness and cold around us? This is based on a story in the first chapter of Luke. Young maiden's life in desert dry, but still she hopes and yearns and prays for something more. Perhaps to be transported heavenward. Then Gabriel appears and gives transport from outside to her fertile place within. For understanding's apprehension gives fresh ergo now, conceived without the sin, and then becomes a body, bone, and blood, as at the first a living man. We see his form and shape like one of us conceived, and yet immaculate with us in time. We count it off. We track the days and weeks, and as the bridegroom stands here at the gate, we ask, why, O God, must we still wait? About 5 years ago, one of my friends who's an amateur photographer asked me, Wayne, I know you're a poet. What's your masterpiece? And then he explained, a person's masterpiece is that work that he's done that best explains what he's all about. And he showed me his masterpiece. It was a photograph that he had taken on a cold winter morning when he was 16 years old. Not necessarily the best thing he's ever done, but the one that shows what his work is all about. This is not necessarily the best thing I've done, but it is my masterpiece. Dawn to dust. Walt Whitman showed me how to look, and sometimes what to see. My friends, splendid leaves of grass, young, wet, and supple, catching early morning's dew, unwilling to remain immobile, shoulder to shoulder, pushing and lifting boulders and lumber, gasping for air with sweat. I know old men with wives and careers and grandchildren. I find younger men than I with more body than they want and parts that no longer get hard. I see young women passionately rearing young children. And mothers in the church preaching to sisters. I see street corner children taunting each other, almost unaware of where they are, ignorant innocence of who they are. And grandfathers who come home to bury their daughters' sons. And sometimes men who have not numbed themselves, whose example explains what might be, willing to listen, and sometimes, oh sweet Jesus, able to see. I find those without careers or possessions who remember how to build and lift and lumber. Afternoon remains hot sweat, dirt and dust, with broad smiles, anticipation in friends. Splendid leaves of grass, both damp and dry, rest and stand together, comrades who have fought their own battles, sometimes dying young. Memories of morning dew, everything transformed and precious.
All right. One more time for Wayne. Again, if you want to read again tonight, we'd love to have you share another piece for one more go around before we have our special featured artist tonight. Alan, are you ready to go? You still
Yes, I
there?
am. Turn
All
on.
right. Happy holidays, Alan.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is Alan, you all.
Hi. Good to be back. It's been a long time. I'm going to share a poem that I wrote in 1980. And I had done a very large study of Thomas Merton during a seminary year. And then all the things that were happening and still happening, I think this is still viable. It's called Thomas Merton. Merton, where are your keen insights and your love of life, this world racing to the brink? And you saw it in your day, which is our day. We read your words like drunken sailors holding the mast. We lose our grip so quickly, the waters rise maddeningly, and we are adrift. We go to your source that we can still see, blindly, lamely, wretchedly, a source dim to blinded eyes. We cannot lose that source of strength, dim as we perceive. There is no one else. You of all persons knew this truth. You entered the door, closed life and source merged. Hold on, don't go, guide us to the other side. Thank you very much, and wish you well for the holidays.
All right, one more time for Alan. I'm gonna start our second round out. And then if any of you wanna join me up here, it'd be great. This is a short one. It's called Tree of Life. In the garden, she was first declared. Her leaves provide breath to my air. In the spring, she wears a nest of robins in her hair. With scorching heat and cold she bears, God sends rain to purge despair. As her limbs are never too long or short for prayer, her roots are wrapped tightly around things we cannot see, faith that provides sustainability. It's that piece. It's funny because there's one that I do usually once a year. And it's called the 12 Days of Christmas, but I'm not gonna do that because it's long. And I know you don't want to sing the 12 Days of Christmas with me. So yeah, we'll bypass that. There was one, oh, sorry. Let me read this next one. It's called, What Else Do Black Poets Write About? And this piece was inspired when I was looking for, I was looking for a poem to do on a podcast. And it was supposed to be a short poem, and I wanted to read a poem by an African American, but someone who was still living. And as I was going on the internet and reading things, and I'm sure of course, that was not everything that, it was not all the poems that are out there, but it was, the things that I was reading just seemed kind of, standard and the things that we constantly have to deal with and go through. So it inspired me to write this. I have more than oppression in my DNA. I have actually seen miracles, been healed from diseases that are sometimes incurable. I work a job and work a hustle. God gave me these talents that kept my mind and my body out of trouble. I've written words that only ears require, recited poems in hopes that inspired, painted pictures that even I admire. I have brown skin that I adore, wrinkles on my face that are easily ignored, rhythm in my soul, and the blues are something I try hard to ignore. I have more than oppression in my DNA. I have the blood of kings and queens that history books won't say. My truth is not only blood on the street, sagging pants and sweatshirt hoodies. It resides in the human cells from Henrietta Lack. The greatness of America came from the people of color's back. So what else do Black poets write about? Maybe hopes for tomorrow? More Black billionaires that lend and not borrow? Maybe more love and less sorrow. That's that piece. Dan, you want to share any more tonight? Yeah? Yeah? No, I'm talking Dan. You, yes. Your name is still Dan, right? It is. Yeah, okay, all right, just checking. I'm weird. Come on up, Dan.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read the next two, and if you want to catch all these, you can get them at Panoply Story and Art Michiana. So I wrote this on August 9th. So this is Cloudboy Prophet on August 4th and the back on August 9th. He rose above the horizon of our cool, a cut-out aspiration, viral possibility, giant, tan, strong. He lived stories we could never presume in our cutoffs and ratty tees, Spider-Man clutched in sweaty palms, rattling along in rusty VWs and pasters, a hero among the clouds, the moon his pillow, a wild heart dream, that tilt of his 10-gallon hat, his laser eyes challenge the sun. So there's a couple more of those. I want to read this because I love this poem. And okay, and so this was written by Cynthia Cornell Davis. Cynthia partners with me at Panoply, and when I read this, it seems so unlike her, but it's really, I think it's very sexy. Not that Cynthia is, I'm not making a comment about her appeal. I'm just saying it's just not quite like her. It's called The Poem on Your Lower Lip in Northern Indiana in March. Yeah. Your smile so broad with delight as you come into my room, You tear open the crack in your chapped lip. Yesterday I kissed your lips into my wetness, persuading you to stay. And having to go, you burst outside into the whipping cold wind, the chafing wind, the salty taste of your blood, sweet. I think of white buckets hanging on sugar maples like pure vessels, the steady drip like a transfusion, the syrup of you, lightly coagulated into dark amber red. The syrup of you coagulates in my mouth. Outside, the cold water sluicing over boulders, lifting the aroma of the pine forest between the maples to our nostrils. The passion of wild nature washes into us its rhapsody, twists us together. The amber red air like the blood on your lower lip. Did someone hit you? Yes, you. I lick it, curl it back, warm it inside me. Cynthia Davis.
All right, thank you, Dan. Katie, you wanna? Yeah, awesome. Come on up. This is Katie again. Yeah.
Yes, this is Katie again. I'm so sorry. I wrote this several years ago. I don't know how it's gonna sound coming out of my mouth, so I'm kind of excited about this being really awkward. But this poem is written, it was like, I wrote a series of poems inspired by a series of billboards, and they were like faith-based billboards that were really just like short and upsetting to me. Anyway, but this one is called Billboard 3, Jesus Saves. What? What does he save? Money? Nope, that's the root of all evil. Maybe he saves the best for last, or saves the day? No, I like to imagine that Jesus saves all the cats. The cats that need love, the cats that were kittens someone wanted to drown in the river. He saves those litters destined to breathe water. He saved them over and over so that his home is overrun with fur babies. His long brown hairs and theirs, a creepy weave on the floor, adding height to the carpet. When the orange classic tabby knocks his wine glass off the table, Jesus calls him a jerk. And when Jesus sleeps, these critters, calicos, black ones, Russian blues, tabbies of every color and gender, fill in the crevices to find warmth. And they fight. Epic screeches, hiss growls deep in the throat, and they play, galloping up the stairs at 4 a.m. Jesus isn't mad, but he complains to his friends about Mittens sleeping on his head, and Jezebel yelling for treats at 6 a.m. And, well, the friends don't come to Jesus anymore because his place smells a bit like piss. I've never read this one, I don't think, out loud, so this is also an older one. I am a goddess, powered by the light of 1,000 suns. I am not yours, tethered by a trio of false hopes and imagined futures. I am a hummingbird, imbued with reflective rainbow feathers. I am not yesterday, dimmed by the cold, winter, dark Midwest. I am dark, dark chocolate, melted by the warmth of 100 kisses. I am not quiet, weighed down by the patriarchal system of my youth. I am vibrant, carried by the waves of curiosity. I am not who I was supposed to be, moved by the musty checklist of conservatism. I am naughty, tickled by the thought of bad behavior and raucous humor. I am not staying, held down by the trauma of my fathers. I am clever, choked by the spark of my own ridiculous pun speak. I am not angry, lifted into self-righteousness or hate. I am bold, strengthened by the love of my people. I am not waiting, dubbed so patient and long-suffering. I am the queen, called by my lover, Highness. I am not needy, supported by sickening flattery. I am fire, watched with quiet awe and gratitude. I am not your red shoes, worn to make you stand out. I am river, marked by strength and depth. I am not left over, given to bouts of desperation and longing. I am truth, bound to whisper to you in the stillness. I am not turbulent, rocked by environmental dissonance and snow. I am the mountain peak, summited by only the most worthy. I am not pretending, drowned by what is supposed to be. I am dragon, burned by tradition, compelled by the sky.
Thank you, Katie again. Just Katie, that was a joke. Wayne, you have any more you want to share tonight? Yes. All right, come on up, Wayne.
I had one in mind that I was hoping would be shorter than Pam's because I was trying for short. And then Katie's billboard reminded me of a sermon, which is real short. Back in the 1970s, I attended Holy Cross Church here in South Bend. Don Dilg was the pastor. And every Good Friday, he gave the same sermon. This is the sermon. Lady came to me once and asked, Jesus died for my sins. What the hell does that mean? That's the entire sermon.
All right. That's Wayne with the simple, simplistic bow. Tanika, come on down and give us another one, please. Give it up for Tanika.
This one is called The Cat's Toys. The Cat's Toy, and it's a true story. The cat has a toy woven into a ring with 5 bells on it. Okay, the cat has a toy woven into a ring with 5 bells on it. She put the toy woven ring off to the side, which she did. I came along, just minding my business, and kicked it. I kicked it. She appeared out of nowhere, and without warning, she pounced on the toy, the woven toy, into a ring with 5 bells. And after performing a somersault, when I laughed. She sat, she looked at me, and she looked at me like, why? Why? I laughed more. Okay, so after I laughed more, she left the woven toy with the toy woven ring with 5 bells on it, waiting to be found again. Oh well, the cat's toy. That's it.
Thank you, Tanika. Thank you all, those of you that have participated in open mic. Thank you to those that are watching for participating tonight. We are going to move into our featured artists. Are you ready for that? Yes. So this young man I've known since we started doing the poetry dance, and he's been very gracious to to share his poetry at the Poetry Den at every place that we've ever been. And I'm appreciative of him and his artistry, not only in this place, but he does a lot of stuff in the city and is very visual in the city. So I'm appreciative of him coming on a December to be with us. So I'm gonna read his bio. He's gonna help me with a little, just in case I, because I'm not really, I kind of mess people, Katie again, Antonius Northern is a South Bend native, born to Barbara Jones and Antonius Northern. So you have his name. Yeah. He has been writing poetry. He has been writing, performing spoken word for the last 10 years, weaving messages about African liberation, the divinity of nuclear family structure, and social political statecraft. Did I say that right? Each piece written by Mr. Northern, or Double Entendre, attempts to marry the beauty of the individual and the creator's gift left on the tongue of anyone who should decide to vibrate the wind. The pieces you will hear tonight are what he hopes to be a lasting legacy of stewardship, empathy, and philo love for each person who has been willing to see the world through his eyes. Double Entendre is also a social justice advocate, helping launch South Bend's new Black Power movement, an entrepreneur who runs New Power, Empower, South Bend, and Community Service Agency, an author and founder of the Anchor Journal, a hip hop artist with music available on SoundCloud under the name of Akani. You hear that? So he has a SoundCloud under the name of Akani. And he serves in the city government within the offices of the Diversity and Inclusion as an inclusion project manager. Whether it be spoken word, governance, protest, pop-up shop, or rap song, the message remains the true to John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. He also gave me this piece. To see if we can pull this up right quick, okay? So sorry. Yeah. These things I always need to test beforehand. Because now it doesn't want to pull it up. Let's see. Yeah. This is when you want technology. This is when technology is not working. Spinning. Verizon, you suck right now. Just so if you're watching this, Verizon, you suck. It's probably listening, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna start. Anyways, you all please show some love for Double Entendre, Antonius Northern, please.
This is like a poet's home. We come up and there's so many different voices I've heard in this room. From Pete to my little homeboy Omar. I remember a young Indian woman, and she told a story about, I believe, like her first menstrual cycle, and she used like some euphemisms, but she was so cute, and so when she said everything that she said, we was just like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I really I came back home from Arizona, and the Civil Rights Heritage Center was one of the first places that I found my voice in this community. And so I remember performing poetry here and kind of rekindling my love for spoken word in this space. And so I want to say thank you, Pam,
on behalf of myself, but also all of my other fellow poets, for always having a home here where we could share our pieces. And to Malik and Babe and Marielle, this has been this is like our little poet's haven. Like, this is the spot where we do it. So, you know, you hear these other voices that are in the room, and just know that this is also where I kind of learned how to do my thing. Okay? I'm gonna start off with some pieces that I learned that I was working on very, very early on in coming to the Poetry Den. Just trying to catch that vibe and like be inspirational, right? So this one is called A New Poet's Oath. I am a writer, not a subscriber. Self-defined with the inks of the river denial on stones as big as Zion. Words that took shape like cuneiform. No pen, number one, the Arabic form. Without cursing, allowing your mind to connect it all, ideally with an angel's wing. I will circumscribe and scribe a new poet's oath. Another. Emboldened. Embolden yourselves to be beholden to notions, never to persons. If your origins be earthly, act meteoric on the surface, so mindsets grow closer to the heavenly purpose. As the atmosphere protect the air that we create, as the golden path cleanses what is connected to legs. Ready the vessels for the moment that the gates open. You can't just get ready then. Yes, sir, confers to yes, Lord. I've been selective, also selected for being accepted. I've been known, you'll want to know orally. You got to be to become. There's a finish line up there waiting for me. A moment coming about now needing glory. Ain't it life how you touch ground, then build mounds, ascending stories involving pitfalls, then you make it out bedrock inquiries. You see yourself now, the first thing, the highest point, the first reflection as the morning showing. The tallest statements, you need a day and this is the one he made for thee. You need the work from construct, man, and mud. The wind is blowing. You don't fall. A small shift, a bigger plan. And it's why we all lean. The give and take. The mountain of a man in the beginning. Please excuse our dust and the errors of our writing. The time stamp on that says June 2013. Wow. That's heavy. That we've been rocking for a minute, man. All right. Another piece that was from earlier on. Right here. All right. If it's a battle to be the latest, the greatest, the Mercedes rider, to come from the inside and be an outsider, then how could and why would you come killing? You swore you would die for. You put on, but really put on, and then it's all gone, and the tears come, and you cry more, and there's a ribbon in the sky, but the same day, every time the sun shone, there's one throne that the king's on. Once the kingdom falls, then the king is gone. Sure, you could ball hard and strive forth. It could be all sirloin and terra cloth, but they call it success, and it posed to mean more. Like a mean mug from a green thug ain't the equivalent of an angry look from a child that you took candy from. You wish his spirit could handle more, but he's so busy doing tricks that you think he'd do the same thing to the steering wheel that he did with the handlebars. And the religion is as sweet as Cinnabons telling the victims, sons and daughters, that themselves is what they become a victim of. Listen up and come with us, and that's what they waiting for. A journey with a passenger. You don't just need supplies, you also need someone to carry on. The strength ain't in the sword, it's controlled by the arm that's swung and then finally recharged through embrace, hugs, and love. So, that's Pam share with you guys in my bio. I love a little hip hop, but I was a little bit afraid early on in my craft to share that. So sometimes when I would perform poetry, I'd like to throw in a little rhyme in there, just, you know what I mean? I remember, just enough though, right? I didn't want to cause no trouble, right? So I remember I had this one, because you go to these poetry events and you're like, are they anti-hip hop? Like, is it, am I only supposed to do but a little bit of rhyming and then I gotta get out? So I remember my first one was like, fiery diaries written on cottonseed. Fiery diaries written on cottonseed, picked by minorities, sported by the young G's, right beneath their asses, but close to their knees. A word from the strongest of genes. Fiery. You see that? Yeah. And so I try to sneak those ones in, right? And then I got a little bit more bold as the time went on, right? And so I came up with this one. It was like, money won't make me simple. 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 Going it ain't an issue. Focus enough to see you. Hiding behind my people. Lying about your origins. Doing that law and order bit. Thinking that we won't notice it's oppression. 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 And now I got to be free. Black men trying to hang black boys like pilgrims, either offering them a dirty cup or a new version of Jesus. It ain't crabs in the barrels, they bone marrow you've been scared of. They've been healing much quicker, been calling each other genius, but all you keep hearing is, that's my neighbor. That's their grandparents, and I'm still mad that they had to deal with you. 2 generations staring at you, that ain't anger, you are embarrassed. Because you still don't get it. You get it and still don't give it. You the type to work for it, die over it, and still don't give it. We call them ass sippers. They try to budget abundance, share hunger, and act humble. Even the women say you act like a broke nigga. And I ain't a token nigga. I got the same respect in my culture as I did at my lunch table. I didn't make it my life. That is a part of a hype. I am the product of spite that became foresight. Me mother Isis bore me 4 a.m. Me mother sun gon' rise, but I'm a child of the night. Before her, I do not worship. She make a man to fight. So good at listening, I don't have to lie. So good at partnership, because I edify mine. Beast of the field, meet the soil. Money won't make me simple. Money won't make me simple. Money won't make me simple. Going it ain't an issue. Focus enough to see you. Hiding behind my people. Lying about your origins. Doing that law and order. Been thinking that we won't notice this. Oppression. 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 And now I got to be free. Being underrated is making me a card-carrying barbarian. Confident in its aggressive behavior, loving the game like love's definition can't mean this. Make it an understatement, because once you ain't the favorite plus better, you become your, I said once you ain't the favorite plus better, I said once you ain't the favorite plus better, you become your own patient, your own hater, but most of all, you know ain't no replacement. This drive in me ain't pride, it's instinct, morals not determined by crime statistics, heartbeats, nor a new pair of sneaks. I do this with no sleep, like I only eat once daily. I got the spirit of El Shabbos and Mosque number 7 penning principle loudly. That's Mosque number 7 penning principle loudly. They're knowing that they clap for him, but they need me. And I ain't a pilgrim partner. My mama got no soul in Celia. I don't want to raise the winner of a spelling bee, and I do not let hoes control me. I was a man by the age of 18, didn't need a prison nor a baby. That's why the pain don't age me. I was made amazing. You know the movements. You don't gotta name it. You know the players and you know the ones playing. I've been around the mob since I was 12. Most of them don't got no Facebook page, let alone a hashtag. Money won't make me simple. Going, it ain't an issue. Focus enough to see you, hiding behind my people, lying about your origin, doing that law and order bit, thinking that we won't notice it's oppression. You know, I got to be free. Yeah. So as you can see, I snuck my little hip hop in. I had to sneak my little hip hop in, and I feel like that's also what you do. Some of these pieces, I even crafted some of these pieces while trying to perform poetry at nightclubs. Oh, that was fun. in between musical entertainment. Oh yeah, and that's where I learned that trick. Remember, Malik, what I was telling you? I was standing in a big crowd, and there was like people having drinks, and there was this guys over here, they were tuning their guitars, and I'm sitting over there and I'm reading this poem, and I want to make sure that this is like documented on video somewhere for some place so that this guy knows that I really appreciate him. His name is T Rail. He's a local R&B artist here in town. He does really good music. He's a cool cat. I always see him around town, but I just want to let you know, T Rail, in case you ever see this video, that you came to me and you stopped me in the bar and you were drinking. But you know, I love black men when they're in their mode, right? When they walk up to you and they know that they got something to like sow into your spirit, right? And so he steps right up to me, right? And this nightclub, Daryl, it was crazy, right? And he like walks up to me, he's like, "What up, little bro? I like what you're doing up there." And I'm like, I know I got a couple good poems somewhere in my pocket, right? And I'm like, I don't even think you heard me, right? But he's like, "No, bro, I heard you. And I think what you was doing was dope, right?" And I was like, "Thanks." And he goes, "But the next time I see you, I want you to really perform." And he grabs me by my shoulder and he grabs my stomach. He grabs me right here and he goes, "Speak from right here." And I was like, I thought I was. Because we all think that when we first start, right? We're all like, this is my full voice, right? But what he's telling me is, you know, bring it up from here and actually like project your voice. And it took me a while to be able to get there. But slowly but surely I did. And I really appreciate the fact that bro like just walked over to me and, you know, said, I see something in your craft. And everybody needs that. So make sure if you hear a poet doing their thing, which I want to shout out each one of you guys. You guys are dope. Thank you for sharing your craft. You inspire me. You should inspire all other poets. All right. And do it from right here. I will not risk a sexual harassment of any sort by walking up to a woman. Right here. All right. Let's try this one. This one actually comes from me and Pete. So, Sherry, Pete, we, the poets, often speak about change, while hoping and praying that y'all will remain entertained and for a second forget about change and remember the change past the skin, the ones that dug in to replace your veins. It is kind of turned into a nightmare. I hate that you slept. That dreams were kept as dreams, made to believe that it is all make-believe and fairy tales. Mostly because they can and they will at will make you scared. Or cut you down like Rodney King, the boy with the Skittles and iced tea, or call you devils when you succeed while glorifying your African ancestry. Be a student, I said, be a student of history and worry a lot less about the Illuminati. It is the child support orders, not the new ward order that is out to get your money. And keep bumping your head with these trees. And I said, keep bumping your head with these, trees. While your mind remains in a sling. Trust me, homie. Trust me, homie. It is dangling, but it is not free. And notice the sign of the beast, or at least that bump on your forehead, because that's what it might be. Just a couple of things we used to run through back in the day. That was an old poetry Dan one joint. That's another one from back in the day. Some new joints. People ain't gotta be content with you when you brought content with you. You ever been proud about your confidence issues? When a brother been broken but he still continued? Life like you trusted them people and they hide their lies in you. The type of lie that from your eyes people can't deny that something died in you. That's mine. Yours got alibis. I got sunburnt corneas from staring in the skies. My mind been known truth. Coward moments eating enamel when my tongue came loose. Spoke thousands, spent thousands on my bowels. That wasn't school, that was food in those books. I heard fame in their hearts. Then I heard fame in their talk. I wondered and found knowledge. Now the plane that I'm on makes me move like the sun. I see you take off and never left your destination. Words that sound like work, but the only ambition is vacation. Musicians silent while I'm playing my own God. This becomes frustrating until agents become patients and miners become fighters and candles become lighters and protests become riots and the riots sound like choirs. And the ministers become Malcolm and the pastors become Martin and time becomes honor and the babies get freedom. I ain't talking about dollars. You can't buy this through college. This is what my ancestors had. This is a Ferguson flower. And in these moments right here, I become George Floyd's new heir, just like I was Eric's heir before that. And give Trump, Obama, Biden a reason why Black lives still matter. I ain't pregnant with rage, I'm providing a pill for the day after. These problems that we face ain't part of a phase. These are isms and schisms. And to some people, you are simply not people. You are just capital. And some of them ain't your people. They selling you. And some of your people been telling you the building's on fire. It don't make a bit of a difference if you black, white, or brown. We are all just trying to stay warm in the other America. I'm hoping that, like, as I'm starting to share these pieces, or at least as you're hearing them, that you guys kind of connect with what I've grown in my truth, right? These are like the perceptions that I have through my eyes of what the world is, right? There's a part of this that picked up a little boy who used to walk these streets and told him that he was a Black king. There's a part of that had to come about from me watching and kind of paying attention to what the scholarship of my culture had to share with me, right? These things and these moments have started to edify and strengthen me to not just be, I guess, angry, but resolute. To have a conviction that I would actually create a change that I wanted to see happen. You understand what I'm saying? And you gotta believe that you're a certain type of creature in order to do that. It doesn't just come because you get upset. Does that make sense? So I've crafted some of this language as a way of kind of reminding myself and also speaking some of that into the world. And as you shared so eloquently in the bio, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. So I should be able to make manifest those things that I speak, right? That's my hope. This next piece is called What Happens to My Father. What happens to my father? You see, he's no, you know my dad? This is about my dad. What happens to my father? You see, he's no judge, no attorney. They hung him from a tree called economic slavery. Pine needles injecting, not leaves left bloody from an evergreen that was never green. It was red like dead mortgages. Survived by a fortunate 500 companies run by men who could barely wipe their own tail, but wanted to call, my mom, a welfare queen. Then demand my dad for adequate health care and food stamps. You see, when you're the champ, It ain't called bullying or being picked on. It's called trying to win, live, breathing, prosperity. Anyone and everyone in here is entitled to the entitlement, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm talking happy, not hungry kids. I'm talking profitable, not fraudulent. But I got a question again. What happens to my father? You see? Well, no, you don't. To be here, he need to to disappear. He need to be here from the beginning, maybe benefit from immigrants, ignorance, and stock dividends, all while screaming, they're giving our country away. As another man works twice as hard for half the pay. Is this your dad? I often viewed fathers differently. I mean, when does he punch in and pick up his schedule for the week? Oh, he just started. How is he the supervisor? Oh, he's on salary. Well, when does he punch in and pick up his schedule for the week? And who has work boots that clean? I mean, what happens to my father? You see? Aren't the hours for our rent evidence, not hearsay? Because you can hear me say, this ain't for apologies. This ain't for I'm sorries. No, now is the time for discovery of guilt, death, and servitude for centuries. Let's keep it 100 about the whole thing. You don't fear my father. They don't fear my father. They fear me. So what happens to my father is no longer your problem. I am. It's crazy when you realize that, like, they might already got your dad. And that it's either gonna be you or the next generation that's gonna have to pick up an additional amount of work in order for this to work out. And so when you write a poem like that, you know what you're trying to do, right? Trying to trick this thing into working, right? It's time to go. You remember these days, Daryl? You know what I'm talking about, Pam. I used to come up here and mumble and stutter this out. Things is looking different these days. You know what? Take a quick detour. I just saw this poem in my notes, and I haven't read it before out loud. Is that okay if I share some news? All right. I'm not sure like why. Sometimes I just be writing these joints and like they just stay in the phone. Like it just, that's your new home. Stay there. Anybody ever write a poem like that? I'm like, yeah, maybe not. Yeah. So this one of the maybe nots just escaped, y'all. Yeah. That's usually when it's the best too, hopefully. I promised a white man wouldn't teach me. I said I would, like timber into literature, review the missing members of my culture. I came close, got in, got grown, more reasons, more things. Easy ain't me, nor was I mean. Average ain't part of anything Kaylee, Barbara, or Lois left y'all. Not a white man sincerely, major messages, magnificent characters, prideless fantasies, falsetto octaves, boring little songbirds chirping their lonely poison, polished in womanhood they borrowed from sisters. Those blistered by ghettos and gun bursts, shot by soldiers, boys, and some want to be boys now, why not? And so what? My attitude should be clearly unfriendly. Why the lady who made the baby barely receives praise for the graves made by they babes, while ours are maids, slaves, or shamed. Become friends instead of queens. This reminds the mind, like white man's lies, of the lies before unkind strides, kicked out a crime in pain on pine, line by line. The lessons of the old gods, Farrakhan, Du Bois, complexion stolen. They talk about how it still hurts. That thought keeps I from learning anything that a white man taught. Conclude it'll be true, not necessarily truth, but fair. Be fan, stay warm. These flares is ear grade hand grenades by the train car. It's bad, but not so bad. Like a lot, but not a whole lot. Want a handhold, maybe heart touch. Mine real as yours is. Notice the environment before you question the emotional. We know y'all, even when the y'all in y'all says, but not us. I'm fearless and the progressive race neutral niggas. You helping stare out their anger or empty the chamber of field weapons against us to protect the union's outstanding. I'll stand here as a black man, no white man, you can't teach this. No new twist, no new twitch. Get closer, be that switch, the reparations, the audation, the audience listening and activists. Then ask yourself for payment in backpats, pull back gun rights in the dark nights. Whatever haunts, what haunts, say nonviolent to the violence. Quote Luther, I'll remember the knuckles in the storefront. The lost fronts from gun butts on the walk home. After sundown, like 30 miles from right here, nightmares turn to day scares in the daycares, t-shirts, food trucks with free lunch, without free folks, ADSSOL, still they don't DGAF. Oppression won't be instruction for my little girl. On God, this is not what a white man taught me. All right, I'm gonna get out y'all here. I got one that I like to close out most poetry events with. How's that sound? Y'all all right? Yeah, we're good. Not too boring? It's all right? Did I speak from right here? I tried to blow the mask off a couple of times. Yeah, this poem will blow the mask off. Let's try it. Maybe this is it. There, I'm starting to, and I'm thinking, y'all give it up. That's my big brother, Daryl. I've been stealing swag for a minute. That's my man. Yeah, all right. This is the story of our lives. Them good brothers, them gone combined. Them boys want trouble, we want collide. Bring death upon darkness, put me mother's sun in the sky. Me mother's sun gon' rise. Me mother's sun, me mother's sun gon' rise. We know bond from afar, creation our home. Made in a woman and birth like the world. In the footsteps of one who taught us to love the island, but never more than the continent. Them boys think me incompetent. Me grow mangoes marvelous. Ooh, that is a fun poem. See, that's when you know you like your own ish, when you just jump to the second part of the poem. That is dope. All right. Y'all ready? Me mother son go rust. Me mother son a soldier. Unafraid of the conflict growing closer. Not the king of no one. So much more personal. The creed bearer of the conscious souls, the primary muscle group. If the struggle comes and we lose one, I'll be there before the clarion call quivers an eardrum. This a black man asking what you fear from. Queen to me side now, let's show this world creation and manifest power, growl louder. We gotta teach the children, daddy a lion and mama where the pride comes from. The stars could die and still scare darkness. When she birthed my son, the skies come alive. This is the story of our lives. Them good brothers, them gone come by. Them boys want trouble. We won't collide. Bring death upon darkness. Put me mother sun in the sky. Me mother sun gon' rise. Me mother sun gon' rise. We no born from a foreign creation, oh, made in a woman and birth like the world. In the footsteps of one who taught us to love the island, but never more than the continent. Them boys think me incompetent. Me grow mangoes marvelous and marvel at the nebulas inside of the irises. I am that intellect, minus the programming and drenched in melanin, communicating with the heavenly bodies. However, not my father. He has been harvested. The doorless cell of the American light bulb, the ideas he would never live for are killing him. So why would you tell a young boy that his father abandoned him? Me hold mine high as the herbs potency and be damn your whole system of legality. I know your true form. You're not evil. You are vampires. You blood-suck my brethren with more arms than an octopus has. Me wrestled you upon these signs and forbid you entrance. You and your big-head scientist. In the words of the scholarship, this is the story of our lives. Them good brothers, them gone combined. Them boys want trouble. We won't collide. Bring death upon darkness. Put me mother sun in the sky. Thank you. That last piece is so much like folklore, like wrapped into it, like there's so many different things. Daryl, I don't know if you caught that last part, the big head scientist part. Like there's all these like layers of things that are like layered into the piece. There's this part about Marcus Garvey where Marcus Garvey says, the question is asked, like, do you love Jamaica or do you love Africa? And he says, I love Jamaica, but never more than Africa itself. There's this, this understanding of like us coming from like the inner to the outer, right? There's this kind of like difference in dualities, if you will, right? And so like made in a woman and birthed like the world, right? And like I'm trying, guys, with this poetry to really try to craft a piece of my life and what I see. So I'm really hopeful that you guys either, take a look at some of the music that's online, reach out, and try and find someone who has a copy of the journal, takes a look at what I do within city government, or, just come support one of these initiatives that we have going on. At the end of the day, I guess I'm trying to bring what's in the inner outer. I appreciate the time. Yeah.
All right, one more time, really big for Double Entendre. Do you have one of these? You have one now. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Again, those that are watching. Um, I also want to, wish you all, happy holidays. The one thing that I do like about holidays is lights and, tradition of being with family and everything. And to my son and my daughter, who I would have loved to be with tonight, comforting them. I came here, and as you know, as an adult, sometimes life gets hard, and we have to just keep putting one foot in front of the other until we see the light again, right? Poetry is that for me, and it helps me to move through time. Art is that for me, and it helps me to move through spaces. And so I know that you'll probably agree with me. For some of us that have been writing poetry and stuff for a long time, it saves us, right? It saves us because we're able to express these things. And it's one reason why we do this every month, because we want to provide that space for people to not only share, but sharpen, that communicate to one another. And so I just, again, want to say happy holidays to you and your families. To my own personal family, I really do love you so much. And I feel for all of those that are missing someone, that have lost someone in these times, because these times can be really, really super hard as televisions and programs are, and rightly so. We don't, need to show drama and tragedy all the time, but for some people, it's hard to be joyous when they would rather be with the ones that they love. So again, my love to you. Thank you. We will be back in January, hopefully, my friends. Yeah, we'll have a whole new set of crew coming for next year. And so I hope to see you all back. Stay safe. Wear your mask when you should. Do whatever you need to do to stay here with us until. All right, thank you so much.